Imagine a photograph taken over a century ago. A solemn funeral scene, black and white, grainy with age. Faces shrouded in grief, shadows that stretch unnaturally long, the kind of photo you'd think held only sorrow. But look closer. Hidden in plain sight, a secret lurks, a murderer staring directly at you from the edge of the frame. A face that should not be there. A presence frozen forever in time, but waiting, watching. What happened that day in 1902? Why was this person never caught? And why did that photograph haunt everyone who ever saw it? This isn't just an old photo. It's a puzzle, and the answer is darker than you could imagine. The year was 1902. The town of Ashbrook was a quiet place, nestled deep in the forests of New England. A town where everyone knew each other, and secrets were supposed to be buried with the dead. But on a crisp autumn morning, a tragedy shook the community to its core. Elizabeth Harrow, a respected widow and mother of 3, was found brutally murdered in her own home. Her body lay sprawled across the parlor floor, eyes wide open in silent terror, and a jagged wound across her throat told a story no one wanted to hear. The police had no leads. The townsfolk whispered theories: a robbery gone wrong, an angry lover, a jealous neighbor. But none could explain the chilling calm in Elizabeth's eyes, as if she recognized her killer in her last moments. Days after the murder, the Harrow family arranged a private funeral. It was a small gathering, held in the town's old cemetery beneath towering oaks. The air was thick with rain and sorrow, and there, a photographer was called. Photography was a luxury in Ashbrook, and few knew the new art of capturing moments beyond mere portraits. But this photographer, a man named Silas Crane, was renowned for his somber and haunting funeral portraits. He was said to capture the soul of the deceased, and sometimes, the secrets of the living. On that day, Silas set up his heavy camera and glass plates near the freshly dug grave. The mourners, dressed in black, gathered around, faces streaked with tears. The shutter clicked once. The photo was taken. At first, the picture seemed like a simple memorial, but when the negatives were developed in Silas's darkroom, something strange appeared. In the far corner, behind a group of mourners, stood a man, tall, shadowed, expressionless, someone no one recognized. Not family. Not a friend. His eyes, cold and piercing, seemed to burn through the photograph. Whispers spread quickly. Who was this man? Why had he been at the funeral? More importantly, why had no one seen him in real life? Suspicion gripped the town. The photograph became a cursed relic, passed quietly from hand to hand, bringing unease wherever it went. Some said the man was the murderer, captured in the moment of triumph. Others claimed he was a spirit, bound to the crime forever. Elizabeth Harrow's murder remained unsolved, but the truth was locked inside that photograph, and no one dared to look too closely. The photograph became the town's whispered curse. No one wanted to say the man's name, or even describe his face, but everyone remembered the cold, unblinking eyes that seemed to pierce through the veil of death itself. Rumors grew louder when people started seeing the stranger in unexpected places. A shadow behind the curtains at night, a fleeting figure near the cemetery gate, an unfamiliar silhouette in the window reflections of empty houses. No one dared confront him, but fear settled deep in Ashbrook's bones. Detective Jonas Reed was assigned to the case, a man known for his sharp mind and relentless pursuit of truth. When he first examined the photograph, a chill ran down his spine. The man's gaze seemed alive, watching him, daring him to uncover what others had tried to bury. Reed began his investigation by questioning the funeral attendees. Everyone insisted the man was a stranger, a ghost even. No one recalled seeing him at the funeral, but no one had noticed him either. Something was wrong. The detective turned his attention to the Harrow family. Elizabeth's husband, Thomas, was a stoic man, broken by grief but guarded. Her children, young and silent, held secrets behind their eyes. Reed found an old journal hidden in Elizabeth's belongings, filled with cryptic notes, strange symbols, and frantic pleas for help. One entry stood out. He watches from the edges. I feel him when I sleep. He is not of this world, but his hands are stained with blood. The words hinted at a darkness beyond murder, something supernatural. Reed dug deeper into Elizabeth's past and uncovered a web of forbidden dealings, betrayal, and a long-standing feud with a shadowy figure known only as the Collector. Locals whispered that the Collector was not a man but a curse, a spirit who claimed vengeance on those who crossed his path. As Reed pieced together the clues, the photograph haunted his dreams. The man in the corner was no mere stranger. He was the embodiment of death itself, a specter that had come to claim Elizabeth's soul. And now, anyone who dared look too closely. The detective's obsession grew dangerous. One night, as Reed pored over the photo in his dimly lit office, the room grew cold. The air thickened, and the shadows stretched toward him. He felt a presence, the same cold eyes staring at him from the dark. The photograph slipped from his hands, crashing to the floor. When he looked up, the figure was standing in the corner of the room. The hunt for the truth had become a fight for his life. The cold presence filled the room like a suffocating fog. Detective Reed's heart pounded fiercely, yet his feet remained rooted to the floor. The shadowy figure stepped forward, but instead of malice, there was an eerie calmness, as if it was both warning and inviting him. "You seek what you cannot understand," a voice whispered, sounding like the rustling of dead leaves. "Some secrets are better left buried." Reed swallowed hard but forced himself to ask, "Who are you? What do you want?" The figure's form flickered, revealing faint glimpses of a man, or something that once was a man. "I am the Collector, bound to Ashbrook. To this town's sins." Memories flooded Reed's mind. Tales of disappearances, of forbidden rituals, and the restless dead. The Collector revealed that Elizabeth Harrow's murder was no ordinary crime. Elizabeth had stumbled upon a dark ritual centuries old, one that tied her bloodline to the town's curse. The stranger in the photo was not a mere mourner. He was the manifestation of a curse seeking to maintain balance between the living and the dead. Elizabeth's journal entries hinted she was trying to break the curse. Her murder was an act of punishment, a warning to anyone who dared defy the Collector. Reed realized that the man in the photograph had killed before, and would kill again if the curse was not broken. Haunted by this revelation, Reed vowed to uncover the ritual and free the town. But the deeper he dug, the more the Collector tightened his grip. In the following days, Reed's investigations led him to the forgotten corners of Ashbrook, an abandoned chapel, cryptic symbols carved into ancient trees, and whispered warnings from those who had lost loved ones to the curse. His every move was shadowed by unseen eyes, every night tormented by nightmares of being buried alive, suffocated by dirt and darkness. The photograph had become a portal, a tether binding Reed to a fate he could neither escape nor fully understand. Now Reed had to confront the impossible. Could he break the curse before he too became a part of the photograph's eternal nightmare? The weight of the town's secrets pressed down on Reed as he ventured further into the heart of Ashbrook's darkness. The abandoned chapel lay hidden in a thicket, its once proud spires crumbled, now little more than a hollow shell consumed by ivy and rot. Inside, the air was thick with decay and the scent of forgotten prayers. On the altar, Reed found strange artifacts: dried bones, cracked glass jars filled with murky liquids, and a worn leather-bound book written in a language long dead. Flipping through the brittle pages, Reed's eyes caught chilling illustrations of rituals. Bindings between the living and the dead, contracts signed in blood, and sinister figures cloaked in shadows. He realized that Elizabeth's family had been in Sard for generations, trapped by a pact made centuries ago. The Collector was the enforcer of this pact, ensuring no soul escaped the curse's grasp. Reed's resolve hardened. He needed to find a way to sever the bond, to break the chain of blood and shadow that bound Ashbrook in fear. But as night fell, the town seemed to awaken with whispers and movement. Lights flickered in abandoned houses. Shadows twisted unnaturally, as if watching, waiting. Returning home, Reed found a note slipped under his door, a warning written in shaky handwriting: "Stop digging or become the next portrait." The detective's mind raced. The curse wasn't just a story. It was real. And it was hunting him. Determined, Reed sought out the oldest resident of Ashbrook, Agnes McLean, a recluse with rumors of witchcraft and forbidden knowledge. Agnes revealed that the curse could only be broken by confronting the Collector in the place where it all began, the ancient burial ground beneath Ashbrook's oldest oak tree. But the price would be steep. Reed's path was set, but every step drew him closer to darkness. The Collector's eyes glowed in the shadows, waiting for the final confrontation. The photograph was no longer just a memory. It was a doorway, and crossing it might mean Reed would never return. The night was thick with fog as Reed made his way to the ancient burial ground, the soil soft beneath his boots and the gnarled oak looming like a sentinel against the moonlit sky. Every sound seemed amplified, the crunch of dead leaves, the whisper of the wind, yet the air was eerily still, pregnant with unseen danger. Agnes had given him a talisman, a simple carved wooden pendant etched with protective symbols. "It won't stop him," she warned, "but it might keep his grasp at bay long enough for you to end this nightmare." As Reed descended into the shadowed earth beneath the oak, the scent of damp soil and decay filled his lungs. The cavernous space opened before him, walls lined with ancient bones and faded runes pulsing faintly with dark energy. There, waiting in the darkness, was the Collector, his form shifting like smoke and stone, eyes burning with a hunger that transcended death. "You should not have come," the Collector hissed, voice echoing like a chorus of lost souls. "The bloodline must continue. The pact is eternal." Reed clutched the talisman, feeling its warmth against his palm. With every ounce of courage, he recited the incantation Agnes had taught him, words of binding and release, calling upon forgotten light to sever the curse. The chamber trembled. The Collector screamed, a sound that tore through the earth and shook Reed to his core. Shadows twisted and writhed, clawing to hold onto their prey. But the talisman glowed brighter, casting a light that burned away the darkness. The collector's form fractured, breaking apart like shards of night, until only silence remained. Exhausted but victorious, Reed emerged from the burial ground as dawn broke, the first rays of sun piercing the gloom. Ashbrook felt different, lighter, freer. The oppressive shadow that had gripped the town for centuries had finally lifted. The photograph, once a symbol of terror, faded into legend, a reminder of the horrors faced and the courage to face them. But Reed knew the darkness could return. Some secrets never truly die. The morning sun cast long, golden rays over Ashbrook, bathing the town in a light it hadn't seen for generations. The heavy veil of fear that once clung to every corner had lifted, leaving behind an eerie calm, as if the earth itself was breathing a cautious sigh of relief. Detective Jonas Reed stood at the edge of the burial ground, clutching the now dim talisman in his hand. The air was fresh, but beneath the surface he sensed a fragile peace, one that could shatter at the slightest touch. The townsfolk, once haunted by whispers and shadows, slowly emerged from their homes, faces marked by years of quiet dread. Reed watched as the oppressive weight on their spirits seemed to lighten, their steps less burdened. But as he turned to leave, a chill brushed past him, a fleeting shadow at the corner of his eye. He spun, heart pounding, but nothing was there. Just the empty street, silent and still. The photograph, the curse, the collector, they were gone. For now. Yet deep in Reed's mind, a warning echoed. Some darkness never truly dies, it only waits. And somewhere, in the quiet corners of Ashbrook, a new secret began to stir. Thank you for joining this journey into the heart of forgotten terror. If you found this story chilling, subscribe to Forgotten Remains for more true tales that haunt history's darkest shadows. Remember to like, share, and ring the bell, because the past is never truly buried. Until next time, stay curious, but beware what you uncover.